Two-time heavyweight world champion, Iron Mike Tyson.
You know, when I was a young kid and I was fighting, I was going through it. Everything was so intensified. Oh shit, this and that. And then it's just an illusion. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It never really existed.
Think about this young kid from Brooklyn, New York, comes to Cus D'Amato at 13, 12, you know, and all of a sudden, I have a low self-esteem. This guy gives me this big fucking ego. You know what I mean? I live by the rules of that ego, and I've accomplished so much.
I was born with great perception. If it came from my street life, from being locked up for stealing and facing unbelievable odds as a young kid, I had great perception. And once I watched these guys fight, I just knew it was a matter of time, but I knew my time would soon come. I knew I would obtain my goal before it existed. I knew that. I knew I would be champ of the world before I died. I knew I wasn't going to die before I became champ. You know, dying is just as glorious as living when you really think about it, because you couldn't have a life if you didn't have death, and you couldn't have death without life. So how could death be less glorious than life? They're both intertwined with one another.
That you said it, my mentor, Cus D'Amato, his objective was to think of nothing. You're nothing, nothing's nothing but the objective, the job, and that was his psychological warfare. You know, nothing matters. You're nothing, nothing. The only thing that matters is the objective, and getting through, accomplishing that objective by going through these methods of boxing. Just anybody, you could be a lawyer, you're 200 pounds, I'm staring you down. It was a weird environment growing up that way. You know, because we as people, we try to avoid fights. You know what I mean?
Right.
From my instincts, we avoid fights for all our lives. And just to be able, this is what you do, like you're a UFC guy, you're a fighter, this is what you do for a job, a lifestyle. That's pretty bizarre.
But you,
Never felt like that before. It was like taking a big drug, like a Lucy, just boom, it felt like you're the man. Then everybody's telling you you're great.
yeah.
You know? My whole objective was hurting people and wanting to be the best, and my ego took over, and I'm Mike Tyson, I'm the best to ever live, and all this bullshit.
Our world was winning and beating people and looking spectacular doing it. You know, it wasn't about anything. Our whole life wasn't about making money, wasn't about being rich. It was about
Being
glory.
the best.
Yes, and being the best. And nobody on the planet could beat us. That was everything. My whole life, he said, best fight in the world, best fight in the world. There's nobody on the planet that could beat me. I could beat anybody on the planet in a fair fight, and that's what I always believed. You know, I don't even think about that now, but just to be in that state of mind, I could be anybody that. One day I said this: how many people in this planet? I said, what? Around 5 billion people, 6 billion. I said I could be every one of them in a fair fight, and that's what I believed at the time. But it sounds so good to say that, and I can't believe I had the audacity to say that. Fell so in love with that illusion of myself and shit.
Really?
Hell fucking.
So you were like, let me conquer more.
Hell
let me
yeah,
dominate.
absolutely,
Let me
yeah.
destroy more people.
Let it be more about me. Let me have the best girl in the world. Let me have the best seat in the fucking restaurant. Give me the best fucking car. I want the best plane. I was fucking all so self-absorbed. You know what I mean? I couldn't fuck enough girls. Couldn't have enough fights. Couldn't have enough fights outside the ring.
Enough power.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. Yeah. I won titles. I had everything in the world, but I still had that darkness in me. I had hundreds of millions. I had money, but I still had that darkness in me. That darkness wasn't out of me yet. And I got in a whole bunch of trouble. I got involved with people who had made me no good. And I lost a lot of money. I kept getting lawsuits. Lawsuits this, lawsuit here, lawsuit here.
I was just a wild guy. I was really a wild guy. I look at myself now and I say to myself, when I spent all those trips in those psych wards and stuff, I said, what was that all about? What was wrong with me back then? You know?
Yeah.
And I was really disturbed back then.
I was never able to understand the concept of greatness. I just never was able to understand that concept of greatness. And as time went on and I gotten older, and I've met many journeys on people that I met on my journey, and people who I've read about on my journey. I read that all greatness, the majority of greatness in itself doesn't come with goodness. The two don't coexist with one another. And I spent all my life trying to become great because I had such a low self-esteem.
I can't believe I wanted to die so often when I was younger. I said, God, I hate living. Now I get 53, I love living. I don't want to fucking die. I hate the fact that I gotta die now. To absorb my existence, you know, and realize that life is a joke. I took it too serious.
100%.
You know, not I don't know. Not long after this, I'll die soon, and I won't exist anymore. And then I have to go to the other world. I want to see what that's like. I can't believe this energy that I have just dies and it doesn't exist. It may not live here no more, but it has to go somewhere.
100%.
You know, and that's what I'm looking forward to now.
Not for a long time yet.
So whenever it happens. I'm just looking forward to it. Because life is great, so death has to be just as great as life. You can't think the worst day of my life, right? Is my mother or my children dying or whatever. The worst day of my life, besides that incident that happened, that could have happened to anybody, probably happened to everybody all over the world at that time, life is still beautiful. My worst day in life is still a beautiful day. If I don't internalize it and oh woe leaves me and my mother died or my baby died, why me? If I don't look at it from that perspective, life was always beautiful. Every day was beautiful. You know? I think even as a Muslim, a former Christian, I used to believe that when I took the Torah, I used to believe there's no good and no bad, there's no right and no wrong. You know what I mean?
It's all
Who are
perception.
we're not. Our brain is not developed. Even at the height of its development, we're not developed really enough to understand why we did something right or wrong. We don't understand our selfishness, our greed, or our ego. We don't understand it. We can't even comprehend it. We can't even conceive it to another human being what it's really like when it's operating. We're nothing. Who are we? We can't explain ourselves. What am I doing here? What the fuck am I doing here? I don't really know. I should be scared. I don't know me. I don't know you. I don't know him. What the fuck are we? I just know what my mind tells me everything is. And my mind is just not reliable most of the time.
I don't know what life has in store for me, but I'm not afraid to find out. I'm not afraid of dying either.
You know,